Hello, hello. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time zone you're at. Thank you for joining our info session today. Right here, it's actually evening. Um, Thank you for joining the info session. We're so excited to have you. My name is Nkechi Oguchi. I am the community director at Itana. And this session is just to provide you with more information about what Itana does and the services that we have, the business license, the digital residency. We know that you have so many questions around these areas, and we wanted to clarify as much as we can so that you have enough information to make an informed decision. This session will be about an hour long, and we really encourage you to ask questions along the way and feel free to interact. We have a comment section. You can share comments there as the session goes along. You can also just send us an email if you have any private question or any question that comes up to your mind. You send it to support@itana.africa. So today we have some amazing speakers with us, some of our in-house team on the business advisory and policy department, and we also have Adetayo um, from Alaro as well. But they're going to introduce themselves in a few minutes. So just feel free to interact in the comments. In the meantime, just let us know who you are. Introduce yourself in the comments. Let us know your name and where you're joining us from, so that we can be able to just interact and connect as well. So to kick things off, just give me a minute. I want to share my screen. I hope you can see it. And don't worry, we would make the slides available after the session in case you want to learn more and read more as well. So I'd want to introduce our guest. I want to add them to the stage so that you can also say hello to them. So give me a minute. Hi, guys.
Hi, Nkechi.
Hi, how you doing? It's lovely to have you guys here.
Hi,
Same
Nkechi.
here, Victor.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
same here.
everyone wants to know who
Yeah,
you are, and I know it'd be great if we did like very quick intros. Everyone, whilst people are still introducing themselves in the comments, let's do quick intros so that everyone gets to know who you are. So Victor, you can go. Well, actually, I want Taya to go first because Taya is a very special guest, and then Victor, you go next.
Okay, thanks, Nkechi. So, my name is Adetayo Oduwole. I am the head of Free Zones Operations in Alaro City. Alaro City hosts Itana Virtual Zone presently, and Alaro City is the fastest growing free zone area within Nigeria. It's a mixed development, which is a live, work, and play that has all the facilities as plug and play one and two. You have the manufacturing, assembly, real estate, hospitality, healthcare sector in one space. So you don't have to commute so far to work. You can live within the same area, work within the same area. As I said, it's the fastest growing free zone in Nigeria presently. Thank you.
Awesome, awesome. Victor, over to you.
yes. Again, it's a pleasure to be here. My name is Victor Famubode. I'm fondly called Bishop, and I lead policy, government affairs, and advisory here at Itana. And for me, I'm actually glad to be here. And for Itana, well, we'll be speaking more about what Itana is, but just to give a sneak peek into what Itana is about, Itana is a digital free zone. It's one of a kind in Nigeria and in Africa. And for us, we're actually pleased to have businesses register and operate within Itana. So we'll be discussing more about that as the session continues, and it will be great to hear from everyone also. Thank you.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. These guys, they have all the knowledge that you need, all the questions that you have about free zones and the rest, they're going to be able to answer it. So I'm actually going to hand it up to Victor in a minute. I want to quickly add some of the slides to the screen. I hope you can all see it and it's clear. And just in terms of agenda, we're going to give an overview about Itana. Then we'll talk about the digital residency and what it means. We know you have some questions there. And we have such an amazing digital residency community that has we've been growing for over a year right now. and we'll go over what the business license is and how it's beneficial to your company. Then a few zone comparison, because in thinking of what jurisdiction is right for your business, it's good for you to see how they compare. And then we'll take some questions. So some questions have already been sent in before the session. We're going to go over those first, and then we're going to take questions in the comments. So if you have questions, feel free to share so that we'll be able to take it. And our amazing speakers, of course. So I'm going to hand it off to Victor. The rest of us are going to go backstage, and then Victor, over to you.
All right. Thank you again, Nkechi. And basically, like Nkechi has mentioned, one of the things that we're going to share is more or less like a knowledge session about Itana and what to expect. As you know, Itana is actually a digital free zone, as mentioned earlier, and it is situated in Africa. And that means it is very important to just give a broad view about what Africa looks like, especially for us, we think that, or we know that Africa, a lot of countries within Africa, especially Nigeria, is an emerging market when you look at the size and you look at the scale in which Nigeria currently operates from. And it presents new opportunities for investments and market expansions for businesses generally. It has a burgeoning young population where over 60% of the population they're under the age of 25, which means that there is huge talent for businesses to actually tap in from. It is culturally diverse in the sense that there are different kinds of culture, customs, with over 2,000 ethnic groups, and this is something that shows a strength within Africa, and it has a thriving entrepreneurial spirit. We have at least 24% of adults that engage in different kinds of entrepreneurial activities. And for us, this is a major opportunity for businesses and different kinds of partners to actually tap in from. Okay, fun fact. Okay, about all right. Okay, so fun fact, we all know the jollof wars has always been something that we always fight over. But who has the biggest, or which country's jollof rice is better between Nigeria and Ghana? We obviously know it is Nigeria, and no hard feelings for our Ghanaian colleagues, but we know that it is Nigeria. So, fun fact, you should know this by now. All right, next slide, please. Yes, about Itana, we're building what you call a novel digital free zone, and it's basically like a jurisdiction that is ideal for global and Pan-African technology businesses, and not just that, also businesses that offer service that are service based, and where the idea for this is for you to be able to remotely register your business and also operate your business, and this is something that is important for us because we believe that for Nigeria and Africa it is an opportunity to harness the opportunities that exist within the continent's digital economy. So I mean, in Kecha, I'll just be moving my slide from here, right? And we're going to discuss more around what Itana is across 3 layers, but we'll be discussing more from the part of the digital zone and also the digital residency. Um, so for Itana Free Zone, the major thing for us is basically having companies from different parts of the world to actually tap into different kinds of opportunities that exist within the zone. And what that means is you are able to actually set up your operations here in Africa through Itana Free Zone, and you're able to enjoy globally competitive incentives ranging from taxation to immigration and different kinds of incentives that will help your business to grow. And one of the things we're actually solving for is ease of doing business. We understand that, firstly, as an entrepreneur, you're constantly looking for ways to actually address the ease of doing business, especially when you're operating in a place like this part of the world. And that means that you are open, you are going to Itana is able to actually offer you those opportunities. So if you fall within the kind of business that we're looking for, then this is the right place for you. Yes, just to give like an historical and legal foundation of Itana, by by design, the free zones came into existence through what you call the free zone, the NEPSA Act, which is the Nigeria Export Processing Zone Authority Act of '92, and that's ever since we've had different kinds of free zones that have emerged. But right now, what we are seeing now is more or less what we call the digital free zone, which Itana exists from. And it has now become very important that we're constantly in collaboration with government, because we know that for this to actually come into fruition, there is no way you do it in isolation of government, in isolation with government. And that means that we're constantly having to interact with government on what are the best ways to go about this, and to in all and they've been very, very helpful on how we do this, in a much more structured and better way. And one of the key milestones that we've been able to achieve, that was towards before last quarter of last year, that was August 2023, was that we became what you call a virtual free zone management company anchored under Alaro City. And that's why, for instance, you have Tayo also on the call, who heads free zone operations in Alaro. Beyond this is we have ongoing policy developments with government also. We have an initiative which we promote, which we call DIFSIN. It's an initiative for the promotion of digital free zones in Nigeria, and it's a non-for-profit. And the idea behind the setup of this initiative is to ensure that we create more awareness around what digital free zones are, and constantly help to ensure that we can improve on what digital free zones should be in existence within Nigeria. Now, importantly, what are the benefits of registering in Itana zone? Firstly is the ability to remotely incorporate your business and even operate from any part of the world. And this gives like an advantage. So to a large extent, you don't necessarily have to physically be in the zone. And you are able to actually do your business from any part of the world. And that is a huge advantage for businesses that are looking to set up in Africa, and they're actually based globally or any part of the world, right? A key benefit is also the no restrictions on capital repatriation. So importantly, you are able to move capital with ease within the zone. Importantly is also the ability to attract the able to transact in foreign currency. So you're able to earn your revenues in foreign currency, and you're able to pay your employees in any currency of your choice. And this is a huge advantage for businesses that they have foreign employees and they need to actually pay them in FX. Also importantly is the ability to access the Nigerian market, and beyond that to access the Pan-African marketplace, which is also going to be a huge advantage for businesses that are willing to expand their businesses across Africa. There's no expatriate quota, which means that for you to set up within the zone, if you have foreigners that also work within your company, you can actually bring them in without having quotas to deal with. There are tax benefits. So within the zone, if you transact within the zone, you enjoy incentives on CIT and VAT and other sort of tax incentives that exist within the zone. There's also the foreign ownership. So if you're a business and you only have foreigners, it is totally welcome. You can have 100% foreign ownership. And then importantly, you're able to open a bank account and ensure that you can use the bank accounts to do transactions within the zone. Yes, an important leg within Itana is what we call the digital residency. We understand that for businesses, community is a huge advantage. You want to be part of a community where you're welcomed, you can also do business, you can interact, make exchanges, and also ensure that you can partner with different or partner and collaborate with different kinds of businesses. And that's one of the key advantages of being in Itana. And that's what the Eternal Digital Residency is all about. So when you come in, you are able to enjoy those community privileges, and we offer those supports, from the ecosystem perspective for your business. Now, why become? I mean, for by just stating what digital residency is, you want to become a digital resident because you are able to actually gain access to different kind of information that will aid your business. You are able to also establish your company online and operate it from anywhere in the world. You're able to join a community that has professionals, that have partners that you are willing to actually collaborate with, and also what you call, to an extent, we have what you call the vendor marketplace, which is going to also be discussed, further during this slide. But the essence behind this is we all need the support. Businesses don't perform in isolation. So it becomes really important that we have a community that can serve the purpose of collaboration, interaction, and even the improvement of your partnership, deals with different kinds of partners within the zone. Another fun fact, for being registered in the company, being registered in Eternal Zone, what we offer is you are able to have yourself being maybe a founder or a director, and two other directors that in your team to join, the digital residency. And this is something that gives, the huge benefits as mentioned earlier. So you're covered, I mean, to that extent. So you're welcome, especially within Itana. And some of the testimonials from, friends, partners, and even prospective businesses that want to, register within the zone. This is the co-founder and CEO of Incash. I'm talking about the fact that um, the essence behind Itana is being able to help, to solve some of the biggest challenges and fear regarding, regulatory approval and licenses within free zones. And what the idea at the end of the day is, say, we want to be able to ensure that we're solving for X, and X here is the ease of doing business, right? And that's what the co-founder of Incash is able to also allude to here. Importantly, is what you call the business license. And the business license here is saying, as we being a virtual free zone management company under NEPSA, and which we are anchored under also Alaro City, it means that we have the ability to actually register business enterprises. And these enterprises will be offered what you call a business license to operate, within Etana. Now, importantly, who can get a business license? So there are different kinds of categories that fall within different verticals. So for if you're a technology company that offers software development, analytics, and different kinds of IT services, you're actually welcomed within the zone. We know that for this kind of companies, they are very important and they have very unique business models, right, on how they currently operate and even scale their businesses. We also offer, opportunities for R&D companies and startups, which is also a very vital part of the kind of businesses that we attract. E-commerce and online retail businesses are also very welcome. Financial services, those that have those, um, very great business model around the financial services sector, you are also highly welcome. Virtual and augmented reality companies, we know that at this stage where we are with innovation, VR and AR companies are actually a vital, part of improving on, innovation across the globe. And so this kind of companies are also welcome. digital content creation and media production. So you have those great ideas around digital media production. Please, you're welcome. And then professional service companies, you offer consulting and advisory services. You're also highly welcome. Now, importantly, how do you go about, registering your business under Itana, right? I hope I've not bored us too much. Just checking in that everyone is following this presentation. But again, we'll answer your questions as we move forward, right? So the registration process is pretty straightforward. The first is you pay $250 as an application fee, right? And this $250 is basically your ability to actually fill certain forms, right? There are some forms that we get from the regulator just to ensure that you are in check with the eligibility status of your company. And then after filling this, after paying for this, we send the forms to you. You fill the application form, and then we also share some certain information step by step on the kind of documents that you have to share. So it includes things like feasibility study, which is also business plan, passport photographs, some other incorporation documents. And then after that, you will also go ahead to pay $1,250, which will be used to complete the registration, which in total is 1,500 for the registration and incorporation of your business. And voila, you have your business license you have your business license ready. And beyond that is also what you call the certificate of registration, which will also be issued by NEPSA. So that's basically what the process is. In total, it's $1,500, but these are the steps to achieving that. Now, importantly, just briefly, this is what the free zone, how Itana is compared across different jurisdictions in Nigeria. And when we mean jurisdiction, we mean, if you are a customs area which is established by being a CSC company, and also a free trade or a free zone in your traditional free zone. So when I mean traditional free zone, for instance, you have Alaro, was one type of a traditional free zone. They're quite heavy on things like manufacturing, like what Tayo mentioned earlier, and also there's a huge physical presence of those sort of zones, right? And then when you compare them to Itana, the idea is Itana gives more or less like that remote the ability to register and operate remotely when compared to others, right? And also importantly is the fact that in Itana there is what you call the ability to also do all of these things, like for instance your banking, you can do that remotely through the one-stop shop platform that we'll be creating, which is an application that enables you to actually do all of these things, and then you are able to enjoy some of the benefits that come through that application. Yes, as I mentioned, this is what the application will look like. Like I said, it's a one-stop shop. It's powerful, safe, and easy to use, and it's basically done. Everything is done online. So I've already mentioned this. So this is what it looks like. You're able to do your company registration, business banking, filing. That's your tax filing and visa processing. Yes, another testimonial from Yomi, who is CEO of Signgo. Yomi is also a prospective enterprise that is looking to register and operate within Itana. And he's made a very strong point here. He's talking about the fact that Itana helps with two-way, it helps along two ways, right? Which has to do with being able to attract FDIs, foreign direct investment, and also gives businesses that have like that's unique business model, right, around the digital economy, to enable them to export their services to the global market. And this is a very key initiative from Itana. Just being able to set up in Itana and also operate, you are able to enjoy the benefits of being able to do business in this form. Yes, this is our partners. We have various partners, global partners, and this is what they look like. We have them from government to private sector, and they've been very, very, very helpful they've been very helpful in terms of how we've gone ahead. Ensuring that Itana can be established and can operate at this level. And I would like to thank all of them also, including Alaro especially. So that's basically all from this end, and I think it's Q&A time. So over to you, Nkechi. I
Oh,
think you're muted.
I was talking to myself. Sorry. So I'll just say thank you so much for the rundown. It was very informative, and I think everyone appreciates the level of detail. We also have Nella who has joined us. I'm going to add Nella. She's been having some network problems, but I'm hoping that um, you get to see her. Hi, Nella. Nella, do a quick
Hi,
intro so everyone would say hi.
hi, Kishi. Thank you. Hi, everyone. I struggling to join network issues, but happy I'm finally here. My name is Nalan Damawa. I'm a policy and legal professional, and I lead policy and compliance with Itana, and I'm very happy to be here.
Awesome, awesome, great to have you. So we're now in the Q&A session. Awesome. I think Dapo says he has a few questions. So Dapo, you can put your questions in the comments, and then we'll be able to take it. But we welcome questions. Put it in the comments. There's some questions that came in earlier, so I'm going to start with those ones whilst we allow everyone else to also put in their questions. So just to make it easy, I want to be able to pin some of the questions. I'm going to share it in the chat, and then I will pin it whilst the guest will be able to take some of it. So there's a question that came in. Um, I'm just putting it down. So do I need to have a physical presence or property to be eligible for the Itana free zone license? So Nella, would you be able to take that question?
Yes, thank you. That's a good question. So in short, no. The beautiful thing about Itana is, as I think Bishop said, it's for technology and service-based enterprises. So it's supposed to enable digital operations and entities that can operate and run digitally, register and take use of the free zones ecosystem space. So unlike the traditional sense, the beautiful thing that Itana offers is you can operate and run your business from anywhere in the world through Itana. So in short, the answer to that is no, and we look forward to having you.
Awesome, awesome. I have some questions from Dapo. I'm going to read some of them out and then pin them. So this one says, "What are the advantages to Nigerian founders based abroad?" I think that's the first question. And then the second question is, if you already have a company registered and running in Nigeria, what is the advantage in switching that CAC registered company to Itana? Bishop, I feel like this is a question for you.
Okay. Um, I don't know the question actually, but I think so. The first one there is, what are the advantages to Nigerian founders based abroad? I mean, that's one of the key. Those are some of the key targets that we're looking at, especially if, for instance, you have a business and you are based, outside the country. I would say, firstly, the advantages is you are able to expand your market, right, to other parts of Nigeria, which means that you are able to operate within Itana, and then you are able to transact with other businesses that would be of advantageous value to you. Is also things like the incentives, like the tax incentives, like I mentioned earlier. You also, if for instance your business actually has foreign employees under you, you are also able to pay them in FX. And you are also able to earn your revenue in foreign currency. Beyond that is also the ability to pay your staff in FX. And then if you have, like I mentioned, if you have those foreign employees, you're able to bring them in without also having to deal with things like expat quota. Those are some of the advantages, but there are a lot from a business side, which I think you'll be able to enjoy. If you already have a company registered and running in Nigeria, what is the advantage in switching? So what we recommend first is you, as a CAC company, you can have your CAC company, right? And you can also still have your Itana being a free zone entity. I'll just say that from those benefits that I mentioned earlier, or those advantages, right, you still enjoy it, being whether when you actually open a new, will I say, a new entity under Itana. So you are still able to enjoy all of those regardless. Right. So what we'll just recommend is it depends on the business itself. If the business is saying, oh, Eternal at the end of the day gives me more benefits, then you can decide to still continue to maintain your Eternal, company. That's your free zone entity. But regardless, we don't advise, or what I'll say is you can still have both companies operate simultaneously, and then you are still able to enjoy some of those benefits and advantages within Eternal.
Awesome. The next question is like a three-part. I'm going to put it on screen. I feel like it's going to take up a lot of screen space, but it's a three-part question. The first one is, if you have staff in Nigeria living outside of the designated free zone, how does that impact taxes and policy? And then before we get to that part, so for this first question, who would like to take it? Nella, Tayo, who would like to take the first question before we go to the next one?
I can take the first one. Now, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Awesome.
Yeah. So I'll just take the first one. Now, what you're looking at is what are the tax implications. So I'll take it from two perspectives when it comes to an individual and when we're looking at a registered free zone enterprise. Now, for individuals are not covered by the incentives. So for you to enjoy or be able to avail yourself of the incentive, you need to have been registered as a free zone enterprise, as Bishop had rightly stated earlier. Now, because this is a virtual zone, notwithstanding where you work or what services you are rendering on behalf of your employer still has access to the incentives. As I said earlier, as an individual is not eligible to the incentive. So, notwithstanding where you stay, you would not have had the incentive anyways, but your employer will still have the incentive. And that's one of the beauty of the digital zone. It allows you to have employees anywhere in the world, also rendering services to you, as against having to be physically present everywhere.
Awesome. I hope that's cleared up. All. This second part of that question is, what is the implication of partnering with companies, HR lawyers, banks, etc., that traditionally operate outside of the free zone? Bishop, is this a you question? Or Ty, do you also want to take that one?
Okay, let me
I think
try
it,
to take this, though it's a little bit open ended. I do not quite get what it meant by partnering with other companies, but I would just
I
assume
think
it means
I think it
if
means
you
like
firm
working
out.
with companies in the
Yeah,
customs territory, I
yeah,
think, and what that's
okay.
like.
Yeah. So if it means that if you firm out services to those companies, yes, those companies, you can still firm out services to those companies, but because those companies are operating in the customs territory, which is in Nigeria other than the free zone, those companies would have to pay all the taxes and they are not eligible to the incentives. Now, when you say partnering with, does that mean coming into a JV with a company that was originally operating in the customs territory? If that is, then it means Once you come into a JV and you register a free zone enterprise, that you create a different entity that is eligible for the incentives. As I said, it's going to be open-ended, so I could answer this question in different from different perspectives.
Okay, there's some additional context. So I think that what he's also saying is that it also depends on your context. So it's one of those case by case cases, right? Um, I think he said not just JV but rendering services for the Itana. Okay, so rendering services for other companies registered in Itana. I think that's pretty straightforward though. If you're looking to render services to other companies in Itana, right? Tayo.
Well, yes, I think I also touched on this. So, if other companies are rendering services to a company registered as a digital enterprise, the companies rendering services to you are not eligible to the incentives. But notwithstanding the fact that you firm out these jobs to companies in the customs territory or any other place in the world, you still have your incentives as a free zone enterprise.
Awesome, awesome. I think the next one, Nella, you probably take it. He's asking why do we have restrictions on the number of directors that will have the digital, that's the citizenship, that's the digital residency in Itana. You know, we usually give it to two directors. So he's saying, what if he has 20 or more? So Nella, over to you.
Yeah, thank you. So it's not necessarily, you shouldn't look at it as a restriction. I wouldn't say. What you can look at it as is it's a perk. It's an added bonus. You get the two free ones when you join, and when you register in Itana. But there's no limitation as to the number. You can obtain additional digital residency allowances for your entities, for your directors, but then at a cost, at a
Awesome.
competitive and
Awesome.
fair cost.
That one says like 20. Okay, there's some other questions that came in earlier during registration. I'm going to put it in the comments just so I can pin it up. And this question says, what if I don't have all the documents needed for registration? How do I solve that so I can register? So, Bishop, maybe you could run down through the documents again. And then what if someone doesn't have all those documents? What do they do? How do they solve that?
Okay. I mean, this is actually a very good question. So the documents you need, just to give like an overview, documents you need are documents that are actually things that you can get, right? So you have what you call MEMATs, and you have your board resolution. You have documents such as things like the ID of the directors, right? That's the proposed directors for the zone, for the entity. And there are also other documents. So those are like incorporation documents. And then you have things like your feasibility study that you can do. But the good part is what we've done to help, this to solve for this kind of issue is that we've created what we call templates, right, for this. These templates you can adopt them if you want, and it just helps you. It makes the whole process faster for you, and we're able to actually just issue out this templates, and you can work with your lawyer. But in the case where you don't have a lawyer, one of the things that we're also doing is to provide the support of a lawyer, but that will come at another cost based on what the lawyer will be charging. But those are some of the documents, and then how we intend to solve for the the possibility of maybe not having those documents.
Awesome. Thank you very much. We have another question. I'm going to pin it up here. And I think it's a follow up on that. It says, how long does it take to complete registration once you provide all the documents? Bishop, you're in charge of the process, so it's over to you again.
Okay, I would say give or take 6 weeks. Again, this 6 weeks is dependent on factors such as the fact that you have every of your documents complete, right? You are also as responsive, especially when it comes to the interaction on what you need to submit. And then the fact that also it goes through the authority. The authority also has to vet it. We also do our vetting and all, but give or take, we're looking at 6 weeks.
Awesome, cool. This is another question that came in earlier. I'm going to put it up, and it says, please go over the cost breakdown again, and what should I expect to pay annually? So, Bishop, can you take that one?
Okay. So in its entirety, it is $1,500. $250 is for the application form, just basically for the application itself. And we'll be sending you like an application form which is issued by the authority. You fill that and then send back to us, and we ask you for certain kind of documents, like I mentioned earlier. And then you have $1,250, which covers for the certificates of registration and also the operating license, which is the business license. So the $250 from the $1,250 is a one-time fee, which serves for the certificate of registration, and the operating license, which is $1,000, is renewed annually. So after this first year of making payments, you are expected to renew that payment annually.
Cool. This is a full on question from Dapo. He said, what recurring costs do we have beyond the registration cost? Bishop, since you're on it.
Okay. So post post incorporation, the cost you would expect, like I mentioned during when I was making the presentation, there are some one-stop shop services. Like you want to bring in expatriates, it's going to come at a cost. Right now, the cost it is all we've not as finalized based on that cost, but those are some of the services. Those are separate costs that you would encounter, right? Also, is what you call the development levy, which is by Itana. However, we're still also trying to work with the authority on what that is, because the idea behind that is this development levy is expected to continuously sustain and maintain the zone itself, because we believe that for us to be able to continuously meet the experience that you require or continuously deliver on this experience, we would require this sort of levy. But by and large, this is something that is not too expensive to be able to afford, based on the kind of companies that also we are looking to attract within the zone.
Thank you very much. I hope that answers that. And then another question, this is a really good question. It said, what if the initial purpose of the company is to serve as a cost center? For instance, just staff only, example, developers. So how would the setup be like, I guess? Right, Dapo, you want to know how the setup would be like. So who would want to take this one? Bishop, I'm about to throw it back to you because you did a whole work on this. So
Okay. What if the initial purpose of the company is to serve as a cost center, for instance, just staff only? So I mean, for us, we're not against being a cost center. However, we believe that you should also, be open to making revenues, within using the free zone entity. Um, and this is for the purpose of ensuring that you're also enjoying beyond just this cost side. You're also enjoying some of the benefits, right, that comes with you being able to transact within the zone. And then you're able to enjoy some of those benefits like the tax incentives and all of those. But we understand, the point where you're coming from as being the cost center. But beyond that, we also encourage that you use, your company for the revenue generation. I mean, it just gives it gives it just makes also it gives also that strength, right, within your being a free zone entity, because what that means is you are also able to, contribute to the local economy in that sense. I mean, beyond being able to pay your staff, but you are able to attract FDIs into, the economy, and also maybe to an extent you are able to also export certain services to the global market to earn FDIs into the Nigerian market. So give or take, it's a win-win for that. But if I'd say.
Awesome, cool. I think we have about 7 more minutes, so we can take a few more questions. I'm gonna put one that came in earlier. It says, "Do I need to come physically to Nigeria at any time in the business registration process, or can I do everything virtually?" Nella, would you take that one?
Hi, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay. Yes. So no. I think the short answer is no. In the what Itana offers is a one-stop shop where you can, from the beginning of the registration process, as Victor spoke through each step to the final stage where you get your certificate and operating license. Itana offers a one-stop shop for you to follow that process virtually and go through all the usual processes that require manual physical presence. You can do that digitally and online from anywhere in the world. So no, that's one of the beautiful things that this innovative jurisdiction offers.
That's awesome. So anywhere you are in the world, you can basically just complete the entire process without having to be here. I think there's another question here. This question I'm going to send it to Tayo. So person asked this earlier was, if I want to charge my services in dollars as a company registered in the Tana zone, how does that work? I guess the hot topic these days.
Yeah. Okay, so one of the benefits of being a free zone enterprise is that you can charge in any currency of your choice. Subsequently, the free zone is evolving to have resident offshore banks where you can trade all types of currencies known to the world. But as it is now, because you're a free zone enterprise, the law allows you to charge in your currency of choice and receive all your funds in your currency of choice. It also allows you to source for your funds from the open market as long as you're not sourcing from the CBN. So yes, you can charge in dollars. You can receive your funds in dollars. Pending when we have the offshore banks, you can also register and open an account with a regular bank. And with your free zone status, you are recognized as being covered and being protected from the anti-dollarization policy.
Awesome. I think that is pretty clear. I think it's clear, especially now that this is a conversation that's been happening all around. People want a level of certainty in their business. So this is good. There's another question that's here from earlier. I feel like you may have already touched on it, Tayo, but I just wanted you to see if there are any other nuances that might exist. And the question is, I'd like to understand how being incorporated in the free zone might affect what the company is able to do or not do in the rest of Nigeria.
Great. So the free zone does not preclude you from operating in the rest of Nigeria. The Nigerian market is the largest market for every type of service or product offerings. So when you're registered in the free zone, you are allowed to transact business with the rest of Nigeria. You are allowed to render your services to the rest of Nigeria. You're allowed to sell your goods and products to the rest of Nigeria. It doesn't affect you in any way. So we encourage you to register in the free zone and have not just the Nigerian market, the African market, and it also opens you to the rest of the world. But Nigeria
Awesome.
has largest population, and sincerely, Nigeria is always your first customer. So you're open to do business with Nigeria.
Yeah, it's definitely the largest market. And like we always say that Itana gives you a gateway to access the entire, to just access the entire continent. So it's a really great jurisdiction if you're looking to register your business. I think we have just 3 more minutes and I would want to wrap up. I feel this has been really informative. We get a lot of questions about what we do, and it's not surprising because it's quite novel, it's really new, and we are um, you know learning as we go along and definitely building as we see what will be most suitable for the kinds of businesses that we are designing for. So these kind of questions helps us to think deeply about certain things if we have missed it. But you can see a lot of thought and intention has gone into the work that we're doing. At least I know we've come a long way, and we have a great team that's been working on this. I just want to say thank you to everyone who has joined in for this session. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for just taking the time to be a part of this. If you have any more questions, I'm going to put our email in the chat and you can easily just send us an email and we'll be happy to help. And I think I'll just also pin it up here as well. So just send us an email and we'll be happy to continue the conversation. I want to say a big thank you to our speakers. Thank you for just being here. Tayo, really big thank you. Thank you so much for being a part
You're
of this. I
welcome.
know we pull you into so much stuff and we're so grateful for the support that you give for the entire Lara team and we're really, really grateful. Thank you, Bishop and Nella, for being a part of this session and just providing support. So thank you, everyone. And let's continue the conversation. Send us an email, reach out. If you haven't already, you can continue the registration process. At least you have a better idea of what to expect. And then we'll see you all later. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye, everyone.
Thanks, Nkechi. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.